Welcome to the November taping of the Cannon County Chamber Connection. And of course, this is always sponsored by DTC Communications, with our thanks because they've done this for quite some time, and it is our opportunity to showcase our community. Turkey Day, just around the corner. And then Christmas is headed this way too. For some reason this year, I feel like there's no time between Thanksgiving and Christmas, because it's you get done with one and here's the other. It's right there. But that's all right. We'll get ready for it. We do want to send a shout out to our veterans because they will be having their day, their parade and everything in a couple of days. And of course, we always want to thank them for what they've contributed to our nation throughout the years, because we do appreciate our veterans. All right, I have several guests today, so we're going to get right into this. My name is Carolyn Motley, and I'm with the Chamber of Commerce, and my co-host is Keith Reddy, and he is with the Cannon Courier.
I am.
Do you want to say hello or not?
Hi. Is that good enough, or is that generic enough?
Don't be smart with me today. All right, our first guests are Bonnie Patterson, who is our Director of Schools in Cannon County. Big job, big job. And Kathy Mullins. And Kathy, what is your title?
I am a BPK, Pre-K, and Federal Programs Supervisor at the Board of Education.
All right, very good. Bonnie, what do you want to tell us about today?
Oh, I've got lots of things we could talk about. First of all, I do want to say our Veterans Day program will be next Monday at 9 at Cannon County High School Gymnasium. I love to be a part of that program. I've been either viewing it as a teacher or administrator or participating in it for a long time.
I'm surprised you weren't a student. They've been having it for a while.
That's true. But it's a wonderful celebration to honor those that have served. My father served, and so it means something very special to me. And I want to brag on our students. Every year they listen, they're so respectful, and they participate in a lot of competitions like essays and things of that sort. So it's a good program. If you've never been, you need to. And come out. We'll welcome all guests, and they do feed the veterans. Our cafeteria staff does a wonderful job that day, and we would love to see you there.
All right.
I'm here to basically just talk about how the year is going. We're almost, you said Christmas is fast approaching. We are close to, getting very close to ending the semester, which will end right before our holiday break. And I can't believe a half a year is already passing by, but we've had a lot of work going on. We completed our feasibility study last year. We presented that to the commission, and we have a survey on our school website, our district website, ccsTN.net, that the public can view and participate in. The study gave some options of what the school district could do for the future to alleviate the amount of students in the building that once was Woodbury Grammar. It houses 2 schools, which is not conducive to good learning environment. So they gave some options. You can actually select the option that you like, or you can leave a comment of what else you might like to see. I think it's important that our public is involved in the next steps as we go into the future. Of course, that takes funding, and with the loss of the wheel tax, right now we have no funding to do any kind of building program.
Right.
And with our new TISA formula, which I can come back and spend a whole time slot just talking about TISA and how we get our funding now. It is not just sent to us. We have to finalize data, appeal data. It's a everyday job just to get our funding. And we just received notification that our economically disadvantaged numbers are down, not just us, it's across the state. And I don't know why, no one can give me the right answer to that, but right now it's impacting us by $280,000. And in Cannon County, that is a significant
Major
cut
amount
in
of
funding.
money.
And it really frustrates me that small rural districts, we're short in staff, and so it's harder for us to find the data that we need to bring the money in. So I feel like that we're at a disadvantage. Larger, more affluent school districts hire people to do this. We can't do that. And so we're losing funding where they're gaining funding. And I've been preaching to everyone, so sorry, I'll get off that
No,
soapbox,
that's fine,
but-
because that's kind of what I wanted people to realize. That, you know, back in the 80s, I was on the school board, and people were under the misconception that you got state money, you've got federal money, and you've got local money. And they thought, I even had a commissioner that thought this at one time, that when they passed a budget, that money was automatically sent to the school, school.
It's not how it
There
works.
is no money that comes in to the school central office. It all goes through other
Yes.
areas before it comes to you all. So there's never any case of money being taken
No.
or,
And I don't think people understand too that some of our funds that we get go to help other entities that are not school related. You know, we help with other things in the county budget, and I don't know if that's something that people completely understand.
No.
And our tech department right now is helping our county offices that we share the building with. They help keep their computer systems going.
Right.
And so, you know, and I'm glad we do that. We should be working together. We
Right.
should not be working against each other.
other.
We're here for our community. We're here for our students. Our students are our future. They're going to be the ones taking care of us.
that's right.
And we should provide the best for them. And right now, it's just a challenging time, especially if you're in rural districts. We were blessed to get the sales tax. I want to thank everyone that went out and voted for that. We were able to give a significant raise, not enough, but enough that we were able to keep teachers and get some teachers back from Rutherford County. But we're going to have to do that again, because what happened when we gave the increase,
They did too.
they did too. And so we're short in, right now, last year we had about 37 teachers on permits. And I've explained that before. I'll explain it one more time. It's where someone has a degree, but it's not in teaching. So we're able to hire them when we can't find certified teachers. And then we have to have personnel that go in and help them become teachers while they're in the classroom. And we've had good luck with that, but we had 37 teachers out of about 160 teachers that were on permits last year. This year, we're down to 14. That's significant that we were able to bring 15 certified people in because of that salary increase. We're seeing shortages in bus drivers, custodial positions, you name it, because our pay is so low. And you've got to have quality people to have quality education going on in those classrooms. So when our scores start coming out, we've made growth. We've made some significant growth, but we are not there in achievement. And quite frankly, I'm happy, I'm not happy, but I'm happy with what I've seen because of where we were. We were in such a hole in salary that I expected what I saw, and that'll be released in a few months. So, you know, I know people, you know, they look at letter grades and they look at accountabilities and designations, and, you know, they want to talk, but you got to realize to get out of that, you've got to have quality instruction in those classrooms. And you've got to have certified high effective teachers for that to happen. And our children deserve that. I mean, they do. And I don't want to take up everybody's time. We did have some safety upgrades. We did a safety training yesterday across the district. Mr. Bill West, we stole him from Rutherford County. He is a national trainer of SROs. He is on our staff. He did a fantastic job. Talking about working as a community, we had Justin Harris come over and do Stop the Bleed. So we're very fortunate that we had that yesterday. And you know, we're working hard every day. Our students are amazing. They're doing great things. We have a print shop at the high school.
I was going to say, you do, I've used it.
Yes, if you need anything printed, go to the high school. I mean, those students are rocking it out. They also have a production class as well. And so I want to thank DTC. They have been very helpful in getting that up and running, and in all the things that they do for our school system. So it is a community partnership, and that leads me to Miss Kathy, because you know, we get laws passed, and those mandates are sent down to us. Like you said, we don't get the money, but they send the mandates.
They give you the instructions.
And one of those mandates has to do with third grade retention law, and I'm not even going to start talking about that. Other than part of that law is that we have to have tutoring, low ratio tutoring for students that fall into those categories. That costs about $290,000. We don't have $290,000. You just heard me say we just lost $280,000. And so we had that funded up until this year. And that funding went away. But guess what? The law didn't.
Right.
So we were struggling, and we didn't know what to do. And this lady right here has found a way for this year. So it does worry me of what we're going to do next year. But I'm going to let Miss Kathy talk to you about our Project On Track grant that we received.
All right.
All right, thank you, Ms. Patterson. Yes, as Ms. Patterson had said, we do come with mandates from the state that we must implement in the district, and of course, all implementation takes funding. So we had worked on that, knowing our funding was ending for the previous year, how we were going to fund it through for the future. And we had some ideas in place, but none of them were really feasible. And so a couple of other members of our district, we went to a tutoring conference at the end of August. And so going back to building relationships and those partnerships, it's vital. I was in a session with a Dr. Deborah Bentley from the Niswonger Foundation. So if your Niswonger Foundation is actually based out of Greenville, Tennessee, and she and I just happen to be table mates, and so we're talking, we're both sharing out within our group, and I'm like, you're someone I need to know. And so we were able to communicate, and she gave me her contact information. After I got back to the office, I reached out to her because if Niswonger Foundation is actually it is a foundation that supports, particularly through education, other districts within our state. And so they support 16 districts, and their focus is in East Tennessee. But we have partnered with them, and Cannon County is the only district within Middle Tennessee. All other districts are East Tennessee. So we were able to work a partnership through them where they are funding our tutoring program, our high dosage, low ratio program for the remainder of this school year. So within that partnership, they are providing, or funding, I should say, 9 tutors. We have 9 tutors at our elementary schools. There are 3 elementary schools that are retired teachers. We were able to be fortunate enough to reach out and have retired teachers want to come back to provide these services. It is part-time. We serve right under 200 students in grades 1 through 5 through this service. They receive tutoring in both math and reading. In the program, it's a part-time They work about 20 hours a week for our schools per tutor. We do maintain a 1-to-3 ratio, so it is the low ratio, and they are serving our students with their programs. They're meeting with them. They are serving 2 to 5 days a week, 12 weeks per semester, so they will serve the same students will receive the same tutor all the entire year. And through this program, they have trained our tutors. They have provided the materials that we need. They have provided, obviously, the funding and everything moving forward. So as Ms. Patterson had said, this is right under $300,000 just for this program that we are required or mandated to fulfill. And so moving forward, we are going to have to continue looking for support and how that we can continue with this.
You know, this thing with the third grade, I'm not a big advocate of that. For one reason is, children have difficulty in reading for a lot of reasons. It's not just one thing. And of course, a lot of it stems from the home. And I really think this may be one of the steps the states are taking to pull in the private schools. Now, that's just my opinion, and it doesn't account for much. But I think that I remember when my kids were in school, we had special education teachers, but I remember going up there and volunteering my time to read with different groups of kids, just to read.
Right.
Well, and I think it goes back, I've got an opinion on a lot of things, and I probably don't need to say it because, you know.
Well, me neither, but
I've been doing this a long time, but my thought is, if you fund public education at the level it needs to be funded, you know, we get funding, but it doesn't pay for all the teachers we have to have. It only pays for part of those. Then you're not going to have all these deficits and shortfalls if we all are playing on the same field. But don't judge me.
Because you mandate something you're not going to pay for.
And because I don't have the money to pay for it. Don't judge me that way. I mean, I've lived in poverty before when I was younger, and I never liked being judged from someone who didn't live in poverty.
That's
because
right.
you don't know until you live it.
We're small.
And so, I think that's what I'll do when I retire. I'll go around on a soapbox preaching this, you know, that
Go around
that
looking poor.
we're doing it wrong. We got to look at it a different way, but I'll stop.
I agree with you. You know, from a media standpoint, in the last report card that was released, you had to have a doctorate college degree to wade through all that stuff.
Well,
and when I talked to the media reps from the state about this, and I said, all right, this is not a snapshot. Where's the snapshot? Oh, well, we'll be releasing that in a few weeks. They never did. And
well,
when you look
you're
at
right.
that, it hinders the media from giving you guys the credit that you guys deserve. And it's, again, points more toward the negativity of what you guys are, you know, lacking in, but then we go back into the money situation.
It's geared, to me, the formula is geared to the affluent. You know that achievement rises in those areas where you have more resources. Growth, we've always done well in growth. I'm not saying I don't want to do well in achievement too. Our kids deserve it. But a letter grade to a school, when you look at that, if you see a D or whatever you're seeing, you're not seeing everything that's going on in that building. You're seeing a formula that somebody came up with.
And you're not taking into consideration other schools in the state.
Right.
Because you see the D in the school and it's Cannon School. Oh my goodness, we've got to do something. We've got to replace things.
We are growing.
But you know what? How about maybe out of 95 counties, 70 of them got Ds in whatever area it was.
Well, if you look at it, the bell curve on it is not a true bell curve.
Right.
It's not. And so I don't take a lot of stock in all that.
Right.
And I tell I've told teachers that, and I guess I get in trouble sometimes. Even when I did presentations for the state, I'll start off with, I don't take a lot of stock in, I mean, I do like data, and I want to be competitive, and I want to get better, and I need to know how to get better. But I don't take a lot of stock in something that is coming down where I'm being penalized for the lack of resources that I need
Right.
That you
to do
can't
better.
control.
Your outcome-based money with TISA, I told someone this the other day from the state, how can I get more? Oh, you can get more money for your outcomes if you raise achievement. Well, how am I going to raise achievement if I can't hire teachers to fill these classrooms?
And they
How
don't
am I
have an
gonna get
answer,
more
do they?
money?
And they don't have an answer, do they?
They don't have an answer for that.
No.
They don't. But anyway.
Back to your survey that you
Yes,
are,
yes.
put online and everything. What have you had any feedback yet?
I have, or we have, I shouldn't say me, it's a team effort. We have feedback, not enough. I'd like to see a greater number, but we're going to leave it up all year. You know, when you do a change like this, you've got to have a plan, and you've got to take time to discuss the plan, and you've got to look at all options and think about how's it going to affect transportation? How's it going to affect this? How's it going to affect that? You can't just say, oh, next year we're going to do X. You know, first of all, we're going to have money. We don't
Right.
have the money to do this right now. It's going to take money, and we've got to do it. It cannot continue. In 10 years, we can't still be in the same configuration. Our buildings are not going to hold up because we have a lot of kids in one building, and we're seeing some issues there. Just in transportation, we're seeing some issues with the distance from the Short Mountain kids that are having to travel to Cannon South. And of course, I grew up in Short Mountain, so that's kind of one of those things I look at. And that's a long travel time
Right.
for those kids, and it's beginning to show on the wear and tear of buses. So at least we have the plan. We've had the study, and they've got something to use to go forward with instead of, you know, taking months to try to come up with a
Right.
plan.
So when your survey closes,
Mm-hmm.
per se, when you shut it down, how long do you think that'll be? I mean, what's the
Well,
time frame?
I'd like to keep it up because of the small numbers. I'd like to keep it up at least through the spring.
Okay.
Because I think that's when they're going to have to start setting some dates and looking at next steps, because this is going to take a joint effort from the county commission and from the board. The board can make a determination and say, we're going to build a new middle school. But if
you're
we
still
don't
gonna have funding.
if you don't have the funding, that's not going to happen. So, so there's a lot of steps,
Right.
and that's why I said it's a 5 to 10 year study. It needs to be. You've got to baby step through this, because the county has a lot of needs. You know, there's a jail that needs to
Right.
be built. So I'm not going to be greedy and say, oh, we've got to do this. I understand there's needs across the county. And if we work together, we can fix all this.
Now that kind of put my next question into play here, and I know it's going to be a hard one for you to answer, but say there's no Board of Education. What is Bonnie Patterson? What would be the next step Bonnie Patterson would take in the school studies and surveys?
Getting both groups together and coming up with the option first, and then finding if it's to build a school, finding the land, or if it's to take one of the East Side School and refurbish it, whatever, and get how much that's going to cost, and then go to the funding body. That's what I would do, but it's not a Bonnie Patterson decision.
Right.
It's
right.
not, and I don't. You know,
You might have some input.
I'm not swaying either way. I'm just saying you
Right.
got to do something.
Right.
You got to do something. And here it is, and we'll do our best to execute it, but I'm not going to ask my employees to execute something in a 6-month time frame.
Right.
That's
Can't
just
be
not
done.
feasible.
Not fair. Yeah.
It's not fair.
Well, Bonnie, this is, happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
This is something that I think is ageless. I think we'll be working on this from now on. They were working on it when I was on the board in the 80s. We're still working on it. And things have changed. And the one thing that I guess I had the biggest problem with is the fact that from the top down, they make the mandates, but they don't tell you they're going to fund it, and they don't tell you how to fund it. That's something you have to work out.
Yes.
And if the people aren't willing to help fund with this in the way of a wheel tax sticker or something, it's probably not going to get done. Because I don't see them coming up with the kind of money, and the more you wait, the more expensive it's going to get.
Well, we do have adequate facilities tax that I'm very appreciative of. That's going to help with some needs. But I will say, if you own a home, I've used this analogy before, if you own a home, you put money back to keep renovations done to your home, because if you're there long enough, you're going to have to repair something. You're going to have a fund to do that. We no longer have that fund.
Right.
And we've got to be prepared, because, you know, one boiler is $100,000 to $150,000. That heats and cools your schools. An air conditioning rooftop unit is $70,000 to $80,000. That's not including labor.
Right.
You've got a roof at Cannon North, and the feasibility study said in about 2 to 3 years it's going to have to be replaced. That's over $1 million, probably. They've got the amount in the study. I mean, there's some significant building needs just because of the age of the buildings.
Right.
Our new high school is now older than the old Woodbury Central High was when we left that building.
And I still refer to it as the new high school.
Oh, we all do. We all do. But I do appreciate everyone's support. I appreciate the community's support, but we've got to work together. This is not them and, you know, two different entities. We're all working for the same thing. We're all working for our
Right.
kids.
I remember when we had all of the schools, we had 3 of them that the roofs were leaking, and I don't mean just a little bit. I mean, it would run down the
When they
blackboard.
leak, they leak. They do.
You know, and there was not, you had a little bit of extra money, but not enough to even really retar all of the leaks in all of the schools.
No.
That would have used that up immediately. And you just hope nothing else went wrong.
Exactly. But
So I don't envy you your job, but I will tell you this. It depends on your feelings about your education of your kids, depends on how important you think it is. I had 3 kids that attended school here. They all graduated. Some of them had some college, some didn't. They've all worked all their lives. They've had good jobs. I had 3, 4, 6 grandchildren. They all graduated school here, and they've all had good jobs. So it is what you make out of it and how important. And sometimes we like to complain more than we like to see those problems fixed. And I know that goes on a lot, but that's up to you. As people who have kids in school and the people that live in Cannon County, you heard some of the problems that it's hard to deal with. So think about that when you're thinking about your schools and wanting to complain. Bonnie, I appreciate both
Thank
of you
you.
coming and kind of giving everybody an insight.
Thank you. And I want to say the next guests that you have are one of our most valued community partners.
Okay.
We love them. I won't steal their thunder, but they've helped us tremendously.
Well, it's unfortunate that you have to have these types of services, but you do.
We do. Thank
So,
you.
thank you both.
Thank you.
All right, ladies. Just find a seat wherever. These ladies are not strangers to our show. They are the Child Advocacy Center. And we have Amanda and Julie and Abigail. And of course, the Child Advocacy Center deals with children who are having difficulties in the home for numerous reasons. And sometimes they're removed from the home and they're put in with relatives or grandparents. And of course, it's coming Christmas time, and these kids deserve a Christmas just like everybody else does. So, leaving it at that, Amanda, you want to take over from there?
Sure. So at the Child Advocacy Center, we work with families who have been exposed to substance abuse, either, parents that are in recovery programs or incarcerated, so other family members are having to pick up the slack. And we know around the holidays, it can be a stressful time for families. And so one of the things that we offer is a Santa sponsorship for the entire family. And so if that's a way that you're interested in helping a family, you can always contact us and we match you with a family and give you their needs. And it's completely anonymous, so the family doesn't know who helps them. And so there's no conflict of interest there, or confidentiality isn't broken. But you get to bless a family, and that family gets to take those Christmas presents and hopefully relieve some stress around the holidays. A lot of times we've got grandparents that are raising multiple children, and everybody knows right now it costs a lot of money to even buy groceries.
Well, a lot of them
for
are
the
on
week.
fixed incomes too.
Yes, they are. And the cost of groceries, gas, the cost of living these days is a lot for anyone. So imagine, taking in extra kids that you have to care for just on a day-to-day basis, but also for the holiday season. We also work with the Department of Children's Services in investigating severe sexual and physical abuse. So any kid that comes to our office for an interview that's involved with DCS, we also offer that holiday sponsorship for that family as well. They've been through a significant trauma. So again, trying to help them out with Christmas presents. It might seem like a little thing, but it is a way to kind of help them not have to worry about one more thing, especially if they're going through a crisis situation or something traumatic has happened to that child or the family.
Now, you correct me if I'm wrong, but when another member of a family takes on these children for whatever reason, they're not paid anything for that, are they?
They're not paid. A lot of times they're just taking them in to avoid them having to go into foster care or them having to be split up if it's siblings. So they're taking them in and they're trying to do the best they can with them. Now they might be able to go to like Department of Human Services and get some type of assistance for the family that way, but they're not getting paid to take in these kids. So they're having to come up with that cost.
Right, okay. Well, I've had someone tell me, well, they get paid for that, but they don't.
There are programs that we can help them to try to find, but there's no guarantee
Right.
that they're going to get approved for that. It's all income dependent. And, I wish that everyone that took in a child was able to get compensated for that. But unfortunately, they're doing it because they want to see a better life for that child. And
Now, every year, I take a family, because Christmas is my time of the year, and I just love everything about it, and it hurts me to think that there's kids out there that through no fault of their own, kids can't help what happens to them a lot of times.
Right.
And what conditions they have to live in. So, I wish I could take them all, because I would. But if there's anybody out there that would like to take a family, she will give you a list of whether it's a boy or a girl, their ages, and some of the things that they might like to have, their sizes, because, they need coats and clothes and not just toys, but every kid likes a toy. I don't care who they are. And of course, this is stressful on the people taking care of them because they really can't afford to go and do that. And I'm in a position where I can help. That kind of makes me get the warm and fuzzies anyway, that I can help some of these kids. So if you would like to, how do they get in touch with you?
They can email me at ahammond@canoncac.org, or they could call our office. It's 615-563-9915. And then we do all the legwork. We get all, like you mentioned, all the sizes, the wish list, everything. And you don't have to buy them everything we put on the
Everything.
list. We just give sort of a starting point. And like I mentioned when I first started talking about this, we support the whole family. So we do have wish list items for mom, dad, grandma, grandpa, everybody that's involved with the family. If we see one kid in our office for an interview because something has happened to that child, we don't want to just focus on that child. The whole family is going through the trauma journey together. So we want to make sure that every child in that family.
And of course, one idea of that is gift cards at grocery stores.
Right, and that's a good solution for families. And a lot of times parents, they don't ask for anything for themselves. They'll say, I just need to be able to buy gas or groceries.
Yeah.
And so somewhere like Walmart or Kroger, that's a good option for them. We do get community donations, so we do have some organizations in the community that will give us like coats and shoes and stuff like that. So we offer that to all of our families when they come to our office to pick up their gifts. Any extra donations we get are always offered to our families. Everything that we have is for the kids here in Cannon County. So I just want everybody to make sure that you all know that you're supporting kids in your own community. And they so much appreciate it. Christmas is such a fun time. And it's fun to see these kids, I don't get to actually see them open the gifts, but we get to see the parents as
Right.
they pick up and it's a lot of stuff. It's a little thing that we may take for granted because it's a Christmas gift.
Right.
But it's such a big thing to somebody who's, looking at a family and saying, how am I going to be able to do how can I do this
You
with all
got 4
these
kids here
Yeah.
looking at you, all
Yeah.
different ages.
Right.
And going back to what Bonnie was saying, if we want kids to achieve and to grow and to learn, their basic needs have to be met.
Right.
Right.
Kids can't learn if they're hungry, and that's what they're thinking about. And they can't learn if they're cold and they don't have something to keep them warm. And so we're helping to meet those needs so that kids, when they do get to school, have their basic needs met. And so, when those parents ask for grocery gift cards or coats for their kids, they're meeting basic needs a lot of times.
That's another thing I'm going to bring up, and of course, this is happening very quickly, but there is a Coats for Cannon that the Lions Club does, and those are free coats, socks, hats, gloves, underwear. You can go to the Lions Club on Friday and Saturday, and they will have Coats for Cannon, and the only restriction is you have to live in Cannon County.
And I love sharing information like that with my families. And so anytime we get a chance to connect other organizations or resources that are available to Cannon families, I always love to share that information because one agency can't do everything. And so it's really good to be able to partner together.
Okay,
And you'll want to
Now-
get in touch with Sue Patrick,
Sue Patrick.
because I don't remember the hours of which they were. In fact,
okay,
here
it
is.
will be the
4 to 8 p.m. on November the 8th,
On
this coming Friday.
Friday.
Okay.
And then Saturday from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m., and they'll be doing that at the Woodbury Lions Club.
Okay. Yes, and as a mom of little kids, they grow so fast. So a coat that they wore last year, they probably can't wear this year. And also, my kids leave their coats places. So I'll be like, well, you didn't bring it home from school? So then the next day, they don't have a coat. Or it's been so cold in the morning, and then by the afternoon, it's hot. So they
Right.
take it off and leave it somewhere. That happens to us all the time.
Well, you can go there. You do have to take your children
Okay.
because they have to try them on. But by all means, if you have a family that needs them, then take advantage of that because that's what it's for.
Awesome.
And what do you do, hon?
She's quiet. She sits there
I know,
quietly.
I'm
She
being
watches.
quiet. I'm letting them do their talking. So I do pretty much the same thing that Amanda does, and I just work with families who struggle with addiction, need extra resources. So yeah.
So you're the place finder, right?
Abigail
in case
is
they need to go somewhere.
Abigail is our drug endangered children's coordinator, so we were able to hire another full-time person to work with families here in Cannon County because of the opioid funding that was available to the county. So Abigail is able to go to recovery court, meet families that are going through recovery, work with kids that are being, probably dispersed to other caregivers. So she meets families that way, and then also
Through DCS referrals.
through DCS, through the school system. So Abigail specifically works with families who have been touched in some way through substance abuse and helping them find recovery so that the family can become stable and then hopefully come back together upon recovery.
Julie?
I am our community education coordinator. So I work with adults, teaching adults how to prevent child abuse in their organizations. And so if you are a member of a church or a sports league or schools, I've had the pleasure of being able to train our schools. I work with the adults, teaching adults how to prevent child sexual abuse because we know that 1 in every 10 children will be sexually abused before they turn 18. 70% of that is peer abuse currently. And so creating safe environments for our kids goes back to meeting those basic needs, where if a kid doesn't feel safe at school because they're scared of another child, they're not going to be able to learn. They're going to be caught up in that fear. And so creating those safe environments and learning how to report abuse appropriately is what I get to teach.
So actually, you're teaching people to recognize
Yes,
child abuse.
Recognizing signs is really important because
Right.
it's not always a kid who comes in with a bruise on their face.
Right.
It's behavior changes and attitudes and things like that where you've got to know what you're looking for sometimes.
Well, a lot of times kids are afraid. And a lot of times if it's a relative, they don't really want to get that relative in trouble.
Right.
And kids are more likely to report outside of their family. And so if you're a trusted adult in someone's life, if you're a coach, if you're a coach and a kid trusts you, they might report to you. And what do you do with that information? That's not something most people, know how to handle. And so we provide all of those classes for free. If you're interested in taking one of those classes, you can reach us at the Child Advocacy Center. She gave you the number, but it's 615-563-9915. And we're always scheduling those classes for Cannon families.
Okay.
Right, and did you mention they're free?
They're always provided free.
All of our services are free, and that's thanks to grants and also community donations, so that we're able to provide the services that we do for the kids here in Cannon County. We never ask anyone to pay for those services.
If you didn't get those numbers and everything, and you need them, call the chamber. I'll be glad to get you in touch with them. And they do need families or groups, church groups, any type of group that would like to take a family.
Right.
And buy forward in there, that helps.
And you could do gift cards if you don't want to go shopping for a family. You could always just send us some gift cards, or I've had churches that will adopt a family and we do the shopping for them. So, there's ways that we can do things to help. If you're interested in helping, we can talk about different options.
Yes.
All right. Well, there you go. How can you say no to that? All right, ladies, this is a needed service. You're welcome to stay. I know you've been here almost the whole hour.
Thank you, Ms. Carroll.
But thank you for coming. All right.
Next time, we're going to have to get her to say more than 12 words. Next time.
She's quiet but powerful, I can tell.
Well, as Bonnie said, they all had thunder.
That's
She didn't
right.
want to steal the thunder, so.
All right. Things coming up. Cannon Country Christmas is November 22nd and 23rd. And it's around the square and throughout Cannon County. This is our merchants' time of the year. And they encourage everyone to come, not just from Cannon County, but from any county, and enjoy the fun and the fact of shopping in Cannon County. And on Friday night, the 22nd, Santa will arrive on the square, as will the Polar Express. Huff and Puff make sure their train is here. The Baptist Church will have the nativity scene there. Child Advocacy will have doing the s'mores. CASA will be there handing out things. Santa will be on the square, and you bring your own phone and take pictures.
Can I go ahead and make and tell you some other nonprofit organization that'll be there?
Who?
Cannon County Substance Abuse Prevention Coalition.
Okay, what are
And
they
they're
going to
gonna
do?
bring candy
All right.
for everybody.
Well, how can you
You're gonna
miss
have a
with
sugar high,
candy?
get all the kids on the sugar high. And they might be, we actually talked about it in a meeting a couple days ago, we might think of another Christmas-oriented, figure, kind of like Santa Claus, not Santa Claus, not the Grinch.
Well, I've
as
already
well.
got the Grinch
But,
in line.
Another one, maybe, an elf or something like that.
Well,
that you
we
can
always need
come
elves.
out and do photo ops with. We've
We
thought about
always
that as
need
well.
elves. That'll be fine.
So,
The stores will be open late on Friday night. They will be having refreshments, door prizes, lots of specials. Our dance studio will be doing a live performance. They're right there on the square. We have antique stores in Bradeville and Gazaway that will be part of it. The flea market usually takes their turn on Saturday, and many of our banks participate, but they do it on Friday during the day. So be sure to come. Now Saturday, we're going to open it up again. The merchants will all be there. They have varied hours on Saturday, but you can go in and shop. If you can't make it on Friday night, a lot of people don't come out at night, but you can come on Saturday. And from 12 to 2, we're going to have the kiddie car show. That's for kids from 2 to 8 years old. They can bring their pedal cars or battery-operated cars, and we will have a little show around the square. And we hope that we can get either the Grinch or Santa back on that day. And there will be some prizes involved there. We do ask that the parents come with the children for that event, because last year was our first year, and we had some excellent drivers. And then we had some that weren't so excellent.
think about it this way. If you live locally in Woodbury, Halloween, you saw all the chaos that was going on down College Street. It's not as bad because there's not that many kids, but
Right.
think about it, they're going every which way but loose, yeah.
And we learned a lot last year. We learned that we need more control. I only got ran into twice, so
Only twice.
that's right.
Okay.
So, but a lot of the parents had remote controls, and that helps too. But the kids had a good, safe place that they could drive their cars or their pedal cars and kind of dress them up for Christmas and everything. We will be giving out awards for that. So that is from 12 to 2, and of course we encourage you to do the shopping around the square and in Cannon County, because that's what this event really is all about. And then, not to be outdone, November 8th through the 23rd, Guys and Dolls will be center stage at the Art Center, and this is a musical you won't want to miss, so please call the Art Center and see about tickets for that. You'll enjoy it, I promise you will. And then November 30th through December 20th will be their White Oak Holiday Bazaar. That will take place inside the Art Center on the same hours that the Art Center is open, which is Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 4. So if you want to do some shopping there, because this is a handmade market, a holiday market, and there will be a lot of items that I guarantee you they're one of a kind. And you'll be able to shop that or the gift store. We also have a store connected with the Art Center that is healthy for you. I think even Santa may shop there. But it will be open those hours also. And then on December 7th is what I refer to as Lions Club Day in Cannon County, and it starts with Pancakes with Santa at the Lions Club from 7 to 10 a.m. The Christmas parade will start at 12 noon, And you will need to line up by at least 11:30 over at the Lions Club building so that it's a big parade. There's no charge for it, but be there a little early so they can get you lined up in the right position. Let's see, then this is something new. We usually had a tour of homes, but this year I had difficult finding homes that really wanted people going through their homes. And so what we changed it to is we're going to have a Lions Club Community Christmas Open House, and it will be from 5 until 8 p.m. You can enjoy refreshments. You can view the Christmas Village, which I put up, and last year it was 9 tables worth. You also register for a Christmas basket that will have several different items in it. Goodie bags for the kids. Santa will be there for pictures. Santa will also be there for the pancakes for breakfast. And there's no charge to come to this. It's open to anyone in the community. And all we ask, and this is optional, is that you bring a food item, either a can or a boxed item that is that can be donated to the food bank, because we've had a lot of activity with the food bank and holidays are coming up. So we want to invite everybody to come to this. Like I say, you'll love the Christmas Village. Just come out and have fun during these holidays. And of course, the paper will be sponsoring the Turkey Tumble again. We have several sponsors for that, and that is where it will be all of the merchants that are being a part of the Country Christmas will be listed in the paper. They will do a puzzle. If you complete the puzzle, you take it into the courier and they will draw 4 names, and they will be $25 gift certificates to our local grocery stores. And do you have anything you need to talk to people about?
Not really, except basketball season's coming up. We'll start on the 21st, high school. Middle school has started already, but the high school will get started on the 21st. And there'll be some interesting games to start out the season with, because the girls, they've got White County on the schedule. That's former coach Michael Dodgen. Of course, they renewed their rivalry with DeKalb. The boys are going to start on the 21st with a game against Siegel High School at Cannon County High School, and that'll bring back former Lion head coach Matt Rigsby. He's coming back. So I know a lot of people are excited about it, and we'll have coverage not only in the paper but also on Cannon Curry News and Events and on Huddle TV. So it should be an exciting year, and I've got Roger Haley helping me out, so we'll see how that goes this season.
All right. Well, I think we've covered about everything. December, most of the Senior Center has their Christmas Gala on the 15th of December. If you have an office party or a group that you're a part of that you would like to have a nice dinner and entertainment at beautifully set tables and also a auction, by all means, you might get in touch with our Senior Center, because that will be on the 15th, and each table sets 8. So if you would like to have a get-together, that would be a perfect place. You can call Deborah at the Senior Center. And let me see, I can't think of anything else that that's going on right now. We do have a food drive that will start on the 16th of November, and it will go through, no, wait a minute, where am I at?
16th.
It will start
16th in December.
of December.
Yeah.
No, it starts in
Well, if you
November.
look at your calendar.
It's going to be the 18th, I think.
Okay.
But anyway, they will have the food drive at the Dollar Market, the Lions Club will, and they will be you can donate food to go to our food bank. And every year that is a good deal.
That's one of the biggest drives.
Yeah, it is.
And the food bank really counts on that drive, and a lot of people come out and help.
They do. And I guess that's all we have for this month. We do want to wish you a very safe and happy Thanksgiving, and hopefully we'll see you again in December.